Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast. I'm your co-host, Tim Chelsvik, and across the table, as always, Mr. Matt Drury.
What's up?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's nice to have you back in the office. You were gone for almost between ATA and SHOT, like 2 weeks.
Yeah. And
I missed you.
Yeah, right. I know better. Come on, Tim. No, it was all good. It was fun. We were out, we hang out basically with all of our partners as a chance to meet up and present things that we're doing and what we've done in the previous years and what we're going to do that coming year. So it's a good chance to speak with them and also find out what new products are out there.
Yeah.
And also get sick.
Right.
It's one of the best chances to do that the entire year
Yeah.
because you come out of the woods for 4 straight months and then you're in, here's 20,000 people, good luck.
So we got Mark with us today, and Mark didn't actually make it to ATA this year.
He's smart.
I got sick before
He
ATA.
got ahead of the curve instead of getting sick after the show. He got sick before the show, didn't even have to go.
And rather than go to the show and make everyone else sick, I elected
the smart
to stay.
thing.
You're the first guy
Stay
that's
in
ever
bed.
thought of that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going anywhere. So.
You know how many low-grade fevers were probably walking around those
Oh.
convention halls?
Well, I know Taylor
I'm a
had
germaphobe.
one on the
Yeah.
last day.
I'm a germaphobe, so I think about that stuff all
It's-
the time. I wash my hands till they're raw and, all the hand sanitizer and stuff.
It's smart. When I was a kid, I used to think going to a buffet was like the height of culture, and this is amazing. They've got like a gravy fountain. You can get but now not so much. And the same thing with going to conventions. There's definitely a cool factor of being there, but oh my goodness.
It's funny you mentioned that because literally last night, I don't forget how it got brought up, and my wife said something about it. I was like, man, the big deal when we were growing up was like, because we never went to restaurants, very rarely when I was little. And the big one would either be Red Lobster on Sunday after church or like Shoney's or Ponderosa.
Yeah, and that's high living.
I thought that was really
We're
doing
rich.
something. Going, because the ice cream, that's all you could eat.
Yep, the Ponderosa buffet was our go-to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it was once-
and I actually liked it.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, I did not like it, but
I
looking-
still like buffets. Golden Corral, I see one. I'm there, man. I'm all about it.
It's been a while. I got to be honest.
Especially for breakfast, I'm all about it, man.
And then you see the people that are camped out there.
You know why?
they're
Because you
making,
get to
like, 2
eat
meals out
quickly.
of
You don't
it.
have to sit there and wait. You just get
In
there,
and out.
get it in line, and eat.
That's nice.
That's true. Well, how about highlights from either show for you guys?
Which we did touch on this, I think, in a podcast previous, but the ATA,
ATA.
highlight would have been the announcement of the farm giveaway that we're doing over on DeerCast. I mean, it was pretty crazy. I mean, there were certainly a lot of great meetings that we went to, but as far as a highlight for us of the trip, that deal was pretty incredible.
One of the things that I saw that I liked most at SHOT Show was Leupold's new LTO HD because it allows you to filter out temperatures that you don't want to spot through your LTO. In other words, as the earth heats up and you get sunspots, all of a sudden you start seeing everything shining in your LTO. This allows you to dial that down to where only the animal would show up. And I really like the ability to filter out certain
You
temperatures.
literally put your hand in front of it, and then there's a setting you click or whatever, and it basically calibrates it to a warm temperature like that, and then it's set. So a sunny day or a cold day or whatever, it doesn't affect it.
It'd be pretty awesome.
That was
which
cool.
is an awesome tool in general. That takes it to the next level.
Yeah.
Because you used like the earlier iteration
Oh, yeah.
of that to recover a buck this past season.
Right. So to get everything calm, you wait till night, which in the evening, it was an afternoon hunt. Everything was dark, so everything was cool. He showed up. We used it on some other deer during the middle part of the day, and we were like, man, we're getting a lot of hot spots. And we were like, this probably isn't as effective. Well, now it takes it back to where as if everything was at night or a cloudy day because you can filter out certain temperatures.
Sure. And for folks that maybe aren't familiar, LTO is Leupold's thermal imaging
Optic.
Yeah, it's kind of like a monocular that you look through.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. It shows all heat. So
Another pretty cool thing from SHOT Show was the Mossy Oak partnership they unveiled with NRA with that new camo pattern. I think it was Overwatch, I believe. Was the name of it. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
And they had a big presentation there. And what was the name?
Ollie
of the
North.
Colonel? Yeah,
Oliver
North
yep.
was there. I mean, it was pretty awesome. That was neat. Neat deal.
Of Iran-Contra fame. If you guys
if you're old enough
that,
to remember,
Could that be late 80s or?
Early
Maybe
80s, I would think.
Yeah, I just remember there was no quid pro quo. As a
the
kid,
thing,
hearing that, and I had no idea what that meant as a kid. I just remember them seeing
How about
that.
now?
So it's this for that. Yeah.
There you go.
I brushed up on my Latin a little bit.
He was shorter than I expected.
He was.
Did you tell him that?
No, I just always I see him on Fox News. You always think, man, he's a big colonel, but he's not a tall man.
Strangely enough, while they were doing that presentation, I think
People
someone
threw stuff at him.
something at him.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't catch on to when it was happening, but found
I
out
think if
after the fact.
Toxie could have caught that guy, because the booth was incredibly crowded, and they're doing this release for this pattern, and all respect is for Colonel North. I mean,
Yeah.
And then some idiot walks by and throws something at him, and I mean, Toxie's look. If he would have seen who actually threw it, I think Toxie would have ran over there and tackled the guy. He was looking, but he couldn't spot him, and I really never did know who threw it either.
Yeah.
Because there were just too many people around. But some idiot threw something at him.
So, yeah, I was looking at the pictures that you guys sent back from that, and I was looking around to see if I could pick out who the maybe if he had Secret Service with him, or I don't know if you
I don't
have a
I don't
detail
know.
for the
I
rest of
didn't-
your life.
I don't know. You would assume
Yeah.
he might have some security there.
Yeah, another highlight I think was a conversation we had with Craig Morgan. He's kind of on an NRA board.
Yep.
And that
Yeah.
was very enlightening, I thought.
Enlightening, for sure.
And about our rights and our freedoms and just how
In jeopardy they are.
Yeah.
The left is mounting these efforts behind the scenes under the curtain, if you will, and they're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And Craig said, "We've got the fight of our life coming up."
Did he list out like maybe one spooky
He
thing?
went through several things. It'd be worth having Craig on. Frankly,
Yeah.
I'm sure he would do it. Just to talk about that.
It was enlightening and scary. And, he had a couple of cool stories about the president that he had met two or three times now. And he, I think, might be on a board there for something that
I think something with conservation.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was probably one of the more enlightening conversations we
was,
had.
yeah.
Where I was like, "Holy cow!" You
Yeah.
know, you just don't know because you're not in the meetings, you're not there.
Right.
So that was certainly interesting.
That guy's got some range. You can sing a song like Hillbilly Yacht Club and also be on the board at NRA. And
He's a good
He's
man.
sharp. He's pretty sharp.
yeah, you
And a
kind
good
of have to
man.
be to roll at that level.
Yeah.
Big time.
So I'm trying to think. I mean, we saw so much stuff in a couple week period.
Well,
There's-
it was kind of a whirlwind for you guys because then you came back and then it was the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
yeah, we got home Friday night, Friday evening, and Saturday morning. It said, "All right, pack
go."
up, let's go." Get in the car and drive, 3 or 4 hours down to Springfield. But that was a very cool weekend with family, and a lot of Mark and Dad's sisters and their husbands came, and my sisters and their husbands, and it was neat. And Grandma presented us with a really cool present that meant a lot to me. To all of us. I don't know if you might be able to see a corner of it here. It was Grandma and Grandpa's Cardinal jerseys.
Yeah.
It said "Together since
It's cool.
1951." She had them framed up for us. So to make sure that we stay on point. And
Absolutely.
that our north is always set.
Sure.
So
The-
it's cool.
One of the really cool things about that was, Mark, I know in your acceptance speech you mentioned how that you were accepting the award on behalf of all Missouri hunters and outdoorsmen that have purchased tags. And
We did, it was humbling to be up there with people we've rooted for and idolized for years, Jeff Suppan and Ryan Howard, these guys, and we really didn't feel deserving. And, we just wanted to say, and we were the first hunters to go into the Missouri
cool.
Sports Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. And we didn't go in there as a family. We went in there as our Drury family. We went in there as a family of hunters. We all go in together, the way I looked at it. And I wanted to accept it on behalf of anybody that's ever hunted or, been in a lake in Missouri or fished its waters or walked its hills or hollows. I mean, it's you realize how special a state this is, and it's on behalf of everybody, not just us.
yeah. And it kind of continues to bring exposure to what we do because now there are outdoorsmen in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Whereas in the past it's been
One of the cool parts, we had an old camera, one of the originals, original types of camera. I think it was AG450.
Panasonic AG450 or 455.
Yeah, and so that was one of the things that's in the hall for the next year or whatever. And that was pretty cool. Just to see the camera, how big it was.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't near the size of the ones like Cuz Strickland and those guys used to use for ESPN days. And
Actually, we bought that camera on Cuz's recommendation.
Did he?
Yeah, when we first started the company, I knew Cuz through the turkey calling circuit, and I told him what we were going to do, and he said, "Hey, when you go and start to do this, call me. I'll tell you what equipment to buy." So I did, and it was a Bogan I forget the number, 2001 base with a 3061 head, if I'm not mistaken, was a fluid head, and then a Panasonic AG450 SVHS. He said, here's what you need, and that's exactly what we bought, and then talked everybody else into buying. I still have my original tripod at the farm. We still film off of it all the time.
Wow.
The 13 interviews that you see were filmed in there at the farm off of that tripod.
That's cool.
Yep.
It's taking a beating through the years.
30 years old.
I'd say.
You got your money's worth out of it.
Yeah. Yep. We have.
Yeah. Well, we should probably also mention the farm giveaway and just how that's going. We've got over 40,000 people that have signed up so far. Most of them hopping on through DeerCast and going to the farm giveaway page, which is new. Like if you don't see the farm giveaway icon in the nav bar on your DeerCast, it just means you still need to upgrade to DeerCast 1.1. Do that, and then you can go through there and click and get entered to win. We've got our January winner already.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, and I think we're going to talk to him later on today.
Yep.
So it sounds like he's pretty excited, and we'll start going down the path. February is an even cooler gift, I think. It's timely, right?
Yeah. There's Analogic, and this is the really we get a lot of credit for this stuff, but our partners are giving this stuff to the winners. So Analogics is giving someone a pallet of their a full pallet of their mineral blocks and a full pallet of the gold supplement.
That is awesome.
I hope I win.
whether it be for herd health or just picture inventory, you cannot beat the Analogics line for either of those two things. I use it for herd health, but I also use it in the summer. You want to pull a big buck out and get his picture before you're going to get him over anything else, put some supplement gold out. The stuff is like crack to them. It's amazing how they come to it.
Well, I've seen it firsthand. If I run out in the summer or whatever, and you go get couple bags of corn or whatnot, just put it out, the amount of pictures decrease pretty heavily for me. So I've seen it firsthand. Otherwise, I would have thought it is what it is. But once you see just how much attraction there is there and palatability for them, it's no lie.
Pretty sick.
Yeah. So of course we're both in areas where we can still use it too.
In Iowa, I can. I can't in Missouri and Mercer. I could in Harrison this past year. However, Mercer got a CWD positive and Harrison borders it, so I won't be able to this year if protocol stays the same.
Those things are changing. Yeah, it really is incumbent upon individuals to know what the regulations are.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's things are moving pretty quick. Well, we put out the request on DeerCast a few weeks back to join us in this conversation on the show. If you have questions, let us know. And we had Shane Stover from Ohio give us a question that kind of is one that is probably on everyone's mind in some form or another. So let's listen to Shane's question, and then we'll jump right into it.
Absolutely. The question of the day is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here.
Hello, my name is Shane Stover, 8-year Marine combat vet. I hunt Ohio, northeastern Ohio. Question I have is, early season I had multiple shooters coming into a small plot, and seems like as soon as the season started, they disappeared. I was getting some decent bucks on camera, filming wise, but now I haven't seen nothing in my spot. Corn still out, still feeding them supplements, but I have not been getting any of my shooters coming in, and I've only had small bucks roam. What would be a good late season plot, or not a plot, but to get them in and staying or coming back to where I'm at? Seems like they just kind of vanished. So if you could give me a hand, guys, I would greatly appreciate it, and try to figure out how to lay a tag down on one of my shooter bucks. If not anything, this year I've been kind of skunked, and just trying to seal the deal before the end of this year. So let me know, guys. I appreciate it, and thanks for the time and all you guys do. I love the app. I use it on a daily basis, no matter what it is, even if it's just for checking trail cameras. I greatly appreciate it.
So first off, we want to thank Shane for his service.
Big time.
Yeah.
You just can't thank our service members enough.
He's a warrior.
8 years.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
God bless you, Shane. Him and every other service man or woman out there.
I think about that when I go for a long weekend. I'm away from my family. Just how hard that is. Imagine going off for a tour for 6 months at a time or something.
God bless him.
Absolutely. So he puts forth a great question.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot, but I think the issue. He's in Ohio, so first of all, I hope we didn't. I don't know when they close.
I think it's late February. If I'm not
so
mistaken.
we could still help him out, hopefully, because that was the point of his question. Like, hey, I need some help here. He's basically his mature bucks disappeared on him, and he's got he's in a state where you can bait, and nothing seems to be working. So he was asking, what can he do, whether it's food plots or what, to hold deer in that late season. What do you think, Mark?
I have a farm that's exactly like that, Shane, in Missouri. It's 40 acres, and I have one particular bottom there on that farm where I have great shooters in July, August, and into September. The Missouri season opens September 15th. They will stay there, and it's literally awesome hunting throughout September. And then one by one, they trickle out, and they're gone by mid-October every single year. I've owned that farm for 10 years, and every single year they're gone by mid-October. And it generally, to me, it almost coincides with the leaves coming off the trees.
Yeah.
And, so it loses cover because it's pretty wide open timber that surrounds this area, which is not my timber. Otherwise, I'd try to thicken it up. And then the rut starts. So they leave their summer ranges and their early fall ranges, and they start to branch out in search of does. And sometimes, try as you might, you can't really change the dynamic of what the herd wants to do.
Yeah.
If the buck doesn't want to be there, you can't do things to make him stay there. If you want to try and enhance it and make it better for fall, the thing that I would say to do would be, A, increase the cover. Make sure that you've got thermal cover in and around that area, Shane, if you can. And B, plant something that's palatable to them this time of the year, whether that be a crop of soybeans or corn. Soybeans are generally the best for late season. However, you have to have an area big enough so that you can plant a field that A, makes it through the summer, and then B, makes it through the entire season and into this time of the year. I would guess you're going to need, depending on deer density, at a minimum 3 acres of soybeans, and more likely you're going to need 7, 9, 10 acres of soybeans, depending on deer density. Those things, that and overall lack of intrusion. Sometimes by hunting an area too much, you can push some of the deer out. So sometimes you just got to let some areas rest. But it may be that you can't fix it. I've tried everything I could on that 40 acres, and it remains unbelievable in September and early October, and then pretty horrible the rest of the year.
So what would you do to improve thermal cover? What are some tactics there?
Thicken it up. Sometimes
Cedars.
you just by natural browse lines and natural cover, you're going to make it better because it's not so open. The wind doesn't get through it as well. The thicker the cover, the better, regardless of whether it's a north face or a south face. And it's gonna help you or get there quicker if it's a south face, because it's going to get more sunlight, and thusly it's going to thicken up much quicker.
Yeah. The intrusion aspect is an interesting one because I think you can bump deer and not even realize that you're doing it.
Absolutely.
It's not just that they're blowing and they're running off.
They never let you know when you bump them. Very seldom do they let you know. Most deer don't.
Well, not even that, but say you didn't bump it, but your scent trail's going in and out, and you've used the scent, you keep hunting over and over, and they're catching your trail at night or whenever they cross it, and they're like, wait a second, I'm just not going to come back.
And I'm not saying Shane's doing that, because he may not be, but if by chance, Shane, you look at this and go, well, maybe I am hunting it too much, consider that. In my case, we hunt the living tar out of it in September and October because we know there's a deadline coming.
Yeah.
All right. And we're up against it. They're leaving anyway. So we go ahead and hunt them when they're there. And then when they're not, I just don't hunt that area anymore. And because of that, it is my number one single most productive spot in the state of Missouri. We have killed more bucks out of that 40 acres than I have all the rest of the area combined. Like, it is unbelievable how many. We kill a buck out of it almost every year. We killed the biggest buck off of that spot. We've killed more bucks out of that spot. It's incredible how good it is.
It's a good opening day. Like, you guys almost always, if the
Opening
weather's
3
right.
weeks.
Yeah, if the weather's right or you get the front, you almost always see your shooter.
We almost always do, because they bed right there just off of it. We always have a lush green field right there. The wind is tricky, so we built a blind that was 90+% scent proof. And I've learned through the years not to go in there unless the wind is very calm, which it often is during the early season because that blind holds our wind in. We killed a deer there this year. We scent crushed everything. We sprayed everything down, and we sprayed each other down while we sat there in that blind this year because the wind was 180 out. It was dead wrong. It was blowing across the plot very lightly.
Is that the one that you and Taylor ran to the?
We ran in there to get in quickly, and then literally sprayed down every 20 minutes on the 20 minutes. And then we also had infield ozone with us. We kept turning that on every 15 minutes to knock it down. And that deer literally fed by within 20 yards, opened the window, killed the deer. Taylor did, a deer called Wishbone. And he was dead downwind when we shot him, but we just controlled everything. And, to think, a few years back, like if I would have suggested that to Taylor, look, I'm gonna squirt you down with this copper spray every 15 minutes, like she would have said, I'm not going, But she has seen the results and the effectiveness of it, and now, I mean, she's like, hey, spray away, get rid of all this smell, get rid of the shampoo smell, makeup smell, whatever it is. We literally kept each other scent free that night. Pretty cool.
Well, you also mentioned kind of recognizing what the different influencers are, and some things you just may not be able to control. Like if the deer are going to want to go off that property at a certain point in the season, there may be nothing you can do to change that. And so you have the thing you can influence in that scenario is you and your own hunting schedule and what your expectations are.
Hunted hard when they're there.
Yeah. And not waste your time.
I feel for him because, I mean, late season, he's had a tough season already, he said. Yeah. And he's trying to make something happen here. So, I think because it is a state where you can put some bait out there, I mean, he's saying, like, that's not even working for him. But, maybe do try something else. Try an Analogics or whatever, something that's a little more palatable. I don't know what he's putting out, but if it's just straight corn, maybe try something that
try something with gold, see if that works. And sometimes it just comes down to where they bed. More often than not, your success, if you look back on it, whether it be morning or evening, it is how close am I to where he's bedding, that shooter. If you look back at every big deer you ever killed, you were damn close to him, or otherwise you're not going to kill him because they don't move very far during daylight. Yeah. And I suspect his issue is they're not bedding close. Otherwise, he'd be seeing them either that or there's so much pressure they're just not moving at all during daylight.
And sometimes like you alluded to, you can't change that even if you try to thicken up your property or whatever. Sometimes they just don't live on you.
Yep.
And that's something we've experienced at least for 6 years now. They just don't live there.
They're just not there.
If you can't get them to your place early enough, and like every condition has to be lined up right for that to happen, sometimes you're just out of luck.
You're just out of luck. It's why the rut is everyone's favorite time because they do move further, they move more, and you increase your odds. That's when they slip up. The rest of the year, they don't slip up a whole heck of a lot. They're pretty good at living. They're real good at living.
They pretty much have their patterns. They stick to them, and
they don't
deviate all too often. Less forced to.
And I've noticed the later in the season you get, the less they move during daylight activity because their metabolism slows down to a crawl. It's part of the species. It's part of what keeps them alive in the winter. Their metabolism goes down to nothing. It peaks in mid-December, so that's one of the reasons we did feedback in 13, and then it just gradually slows. And it's hard to see deer during daylight this time of the year because their metabolism's so slow. It is an automatic mechanism within their bodies that allow them to survive winter and to survive 20 degree below temperatures and so on and so forth because their metabolism's so slow they don't have to eat as much. Therefore, they bed up, and it's almost like a white-tailed deer hibernation, if you will, especially in the north where he's at.
Well, and that was a question that I saw quite a bit here with this recent kind of Arctic dome of air that came down, and we're seeing sub-zero temperatures in places that don't regularly see that. People are like, well, what are the deer going to do? Should we really try to be out there supplementing and helping them through, or are they just going to hunker down? And
we had this conversation actually this past weekend in Springfield, and I forget how we got on it, but didn't you say, or somebody said, sometimes that supplemental feeding can actually hurt them more than help them if they got to go.
If they have to go very far
to get to it.
The key to winter supplemental feeding, two things. Number one, get it very close to where they're bedding so that they don't have to move very far and expend energy to get there. Yeah. And number two, spread it way out so that you reduce social stress. Don't put it in one pile or 50 deer because they're going to come to it. I mean, they have to eat. Don't put them all in the same place because deer don't like to be around other deer. So spread it way out, much like the residue on a cut cornfield or something, but put it close to their bed and spread it way out to keep them apart from each other.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know if we helped Shane or not, but hopefully you got a little bit out of it.
Yeah, let us know. And well, if nothing else, Shane gets a Drury Outdoors hat for us using his question on the podcast.
I tagged Soup, but I got a hat. Should be a
Nice
t-shirt.
job. And if you want to ask us a question, just go to DeerCast.com/podcast, and in the lower right-hand side of your screen, you'll see a tab that says Send Voicemail. Click that and use the microphone on your mobile device or your laptop and leave us a quick question. We'd love to hear what you're thinking and get back to you on that. And again, if we use your question on air, we will send you a hat.
All right. So I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. We got a few closing remarks we got to make, and then we are on to the next.
Yeah, so if you enjoyed what you heard and want to subscribe to the show and haven't already, do so via SoundCloud or Apple Podcast or Google Play. Pretty much any place that you're going to get podcasts, you will be able to find the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast. You can also watch a show on YouTube, watch in the DoD TV section of DeerCast, where you can also register for the 30-year anniversary farm giveaway.
Absolutely. And while you're over on YouTube, we got all kinds of new content that's hitting the door every week. So while you're there, please stay and enjoy, watch, subscribe while you're there as well. But the big news always for us is DeerCast and the farm giveaway, and hopefully giving people a chance to have something that can be a life changer farm. 60 acres in North Missouri. Pretty cool.
I can't wait to give it away.
It's going to be cool.
I can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. Cool.
All right.
Well, let's shut this thing down.
All right. Until
Thanks for
next
watching.
time. Peace.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV was brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's.